The October wind sliced through downtown Seattle like a knife, but Marcus Reed, at 40, barely noticed. His tailored navy coat flared as he strode toward the old lumber warehouse he'd just bought, a forgotten relic of the city's industrial past. Another deal sealed, another ghost turned to gold, he thought, scrolling through the final contracts on his phone. The warehouse had been empty for 7 years, a crumbling monument to a faded era. Where others saw ruin, Marcus saw profit prime real estate for condos or a tech hub. The rusted keys felt heavy in his hand as he unlocked the creaking door. Inside, dust swirled in beams of fading sunlight filtering through cracked windows. His steps echoed in the cavernous space, his mind already calculating square footage and ROI. Then, a faint, rhythmic hum stopped him cold. It came from below, soft but persistent. Frowning, Marcus followed the sound to a hidden stairwell behind a stack of rotting crates. The basement stairs groaned under his weight as he descended into the dim. What he saw froze him. 2 small girls at ancient sewing machines, their tiny hands working fabric with uncanny precision. The older one, maybe 10, had auburn hair tied back tightly and eyes like a stormy sea. The younger, around 7, sang softly to herself as she stitched. "What are you doing here?" Marcus's voice boomed, sharp and commanding. The older girl didn't flinch, her sea-blue eyes locking onto his with bold defiance. "We're working," she said, her tone matter of fact. "Found a way in through the alley. Been coming here for months." Marcus stepped closer, his businessman's brain already tallying risk, trespassing, liability, bad PR. "Where are your parents?" he demanded. "Our mom's sick," the girl shot back, her chin rising. "I'm Clara, this is Emma. We've got to finish these school uniforms by Thursday, or we don't get paid." He stared at the stack of pristine garments beside her. The work was flawless, professional, impossible for kids. Yet there it was. "My mom taught me," Clara added, as if sensing his disbelief. "She used to work here before it shut down." Something in her fierce gaze, those shifting blue-green eyes, hit Marcus like a shockwave. For a split second, he was 9 again, carrying burdens no child should, his own mother's tired face flashing in his mind. But Marcus Reed didn't do sentiment. He'd buried that weakness long ago. He pulled 2 crisp $100 bills from his wallet, the sound sharp in the musty air. "Take this and don't come back. My team's sealing your entrance." Clara stared at the money but didn't touch it. "We can't leave. We've got a contract." Marcus nearly laughed. "Kids don't have contracts. MS. Larson at Pinewood Elementary does," Clara said, unflinching. 20 uniforms by Thursday, or the school's winter program gets canceled. She's paying us $400. Emma looked up, her small face pinched with worry. "Clara, is he going to make us stop?" "I'm not the bad guy," Marcus snapped, then caught himself. His voice softened, just a fraction. "This isn't safe. You shouldn't be here." 3 days later, his phone buzzed during a tense board meeting. "Mr. Reed, those girls are back," his security chief said, voice low. "We sealed the alley door, but they found another way." 20 minutes later, Marcus stormed into the basement, ready to call the cops. But the sight stopped him short. The girls had turned the space into a miniature factory, neat stacks of uniforms, fabric cut with surgical precision. Seemed so perfect they'd shame most tailors. "You blocked our door," Clara said, not looking up from her machine. "So we used the loading bay vent." "You're trespassing," Marcus said, his voice ice. Clara stood, barely 4 feet tall, but radiating fire. "You don't get it. Mom needs medicine, real medicine, not the cheap clinic stuff. If we don't finish, she doesn't get better." Her words landed like a punch. Those fierce eyes, shifting between blue and green, felt like a mirror. "What's your mom's name?" he asked, his voice rougher than intended. "Sarah Cole," Clara said, her defiance flickering. The name cracked something open in Marcus's tightly sealed pasta, fleeting memory from his early days climbing the corporate ladder, when people were just stepping stones. For 2 sleepless nights, Sarah Cole's name haunted him. On Wednesday, curiosity won. He trailed the girls from a distance, his sleek Tesla gliding through Seattle's gritty south side, a world away from his waterfront penthouse. Maple Avenue was a patchwork of small homes with faded paint and stubborn gardens. The girls slipped into a faded blue house with chipped shutters. Marcus parked across the street, watching. A tidy garden bloomed defiantly out front, and chalk drawings danced across the steps. A sharp voice broke his focus. "Not great at sneaking, are you?" An older woman with silver hair and hawk-like eyes approached his car. "I'm Evelyn Grant," she said, her smile warm but edged with something predatory. "Live right there." She nodded at a pristine house across the street. "You're curious about the Cole girls, aren't you?" Marcus played dumb. "Not sure what you mean." Evelyn's laugh was sharp. "I've seen you watching. Can't blame you. Those kids are running wild while their mom's barely holding on. Depression, you know. Some days, she doesn't leave her bed." Marcus's eyes flicked to Clara, emerging from the house, counting crumpled bills as she headed to a corner store. "That one thinks she's grown," Evelyn went on. "But kids need structure. I'm considering a call to social services for their sake, of course." Marcus's jaw tightened. "Of course." Evelyn's eyes gleamed. "That house has potential. Prime spot for a boutique hotel. I'd need their land to make it work." The truth hit Marcus like a slap. Evelyn wasn't a concerned neighbor. She was a vulture. That night, in his sterile penthouse, Marcus stared at the city lights, Clara's defiant eyes burning in his mind. Memories flooded back his mother, Anna, slaving at a textile mill, her hands rough from work, her smile fading under the weight of survival. At 9, Marcus had cooked dinner on a rickety stove, waiting for her late shifts to end. Anna had died of exhaustion during his college years, working 3 jobs to fund his dreams. He'd vowed never to be that vulnerable again, building walls of wealth and ambition. But Clara's eyes cracked those walls. He sent a hair from her sewing machine for DNA testing, telling himself it was just due diligence. But deep down he knew. For weeks, Marcus drove by Maple Avenue, watching Clara's relentless routine: school, errands, sewing, caring for Emma. Evelyn was always there, too, lurking behind curtains, whispering to neighbors, spinning her web. One rainy Tuesday, he saw her march into the Department of Child Services with a folder tucked under her arm. Later, he intercepted her call to the county assessor, her voice syrupy. "I'm inquiring about 142 Maple Avenue. I hear there may be issues with the current residents. I'd be interested in making an offer if things change." Marcus's blood ran cold. Evelyn was circling, ready to pounce. The next day, he confronted her in her manicured garden. "Nice day for phone calls," he said, his voice low. "Social services?" "The assessor's office." Evelyn's smile didn't waver. "I'm just worried about those girls. That house is a wreck, and their mother's unfit." "You mean their house is prime real estate?" Marcus shot back. Evelyn's mask slipped. "That land's worth triple what they paid. I could turn this block into something valuably a luxury inn. Those girls would be better off in foster care." Marcus leaned in, voice deadly. "Not on my watch." Evelyn's eyes narrowed. "And who are you? Some creep stalking kids? Maybe social services should hear about you." The threat twisted the knife, but Marcus was already planning her downfall. At 5 a.m., he parked across from the blue house, watching Clara's routine unfold like a gut punch. She moved through the kitchen with military precision: oatmeal with a sprinkle of sugar, packed lunches, Emma's hair braided neatly. "If anyone asks about Mommy, say she's resting," Clara whispered to Emma. "It's not lying." Marcus's throat tightened. At 10, Clara was a master of survival, just as he'd been. She walked Emma to school, checked every crosswalk, then rushed to her own classes. By afternoon, they were back in the warehouse, sewing with corporate-level focus. Clara's skill was mesmerizing, her tiny hands guiding fabric like an artist. She taught Emma with patience Marcus had never known. Stitch twice, check once. Feel the thread. By evening, they delivered uniforms across town, Clara tracking payments in a worn notebook. At night, she cooked, checked on Sarah, and did homework until her light went out at 10 p.m. This wasn't childhood, it was warfare. A storm hit Seattle like a reckoning. Marcus was reviewing reports when lightning cracked the sky. At 10:03 p.m., his phone rang. "Mr. Reed, ambulance just took the mom," his hired guard reported. "The kids are alone, and it's bad." Marcus sped through flooded streets, arriving at a dark, leaking house. Inside, Clara knelt beside Emma, who was burning with fever, both girls soaked and trembling. "They took Mom," Clara whispered, tears streaking her face. "Sophia's sick, and the roof's leaking." Marcus knelt in the water, his suit ruined. We're getting Emma to a doctor. I don't have insurance cards, Clara said, panic creeping in. And the house, Clara, Marcus said, firm but kind. Trust me. I've got this. Her sea-blue eyes searched his, then she nodded. He carried Emma to his car, Clara grabbing essentials, and they sped to the ER. At the hospital, Marcus's name and money cut through red tape. Doctors treated Emma's strep throat while Marcus called contractors to save the house. In the waiting room, Clara collapsed into sobs, clutching his shirt. I tried so hard, but I'm not enough. Marcus held her, tears burning his own eyes. You're stronger than anyone I know. But you don't have to do this alone anymore. Social worker Laura Bennett arrived, asking pointed questions. Marcus answered honestly, knowing his life was about to change forever. His penthouse wasn't built for kid-sharp edges, cold glass, no warmth. But within hours, he transformed a guest room with cozy beds and toys. Clara, used to control, clashed with the hired nanny, who quit in frustration. She won't let me do anything, the nanny complained. Marcus understood Clara's survival depended on vigilance. One morning, he found her cooking breakfast at 5:30 a.m., standing on a stool. You don't have to, he said. Yes, I do, Clara replied. Emma needs routine. That day, he cleared his office, installing sewing machines for both girls. Work here, where it's safe, he told Clara. Her hesitant smile lit up the room. Soon, his sterile penthouse hummed with life fabric, laughter, Emma's drawings on the walls. Laura returned, scrutinizing their new life. Evelyn's accusations painted Sarah as neglectful and Marcus as suspicious. Marcus countered with evidence: phone logs, assessor records, neighbor testimonies exposing Evelyn's greed. Then the DNA results arrived. 99.7% probability Clara was his daughter. That night, he sat the girls down. Clara, I knew your mom years ago at the mill. I didn't know about you until now. Clara's eyes hardened. So you're my real dad. James was your dad, Marcus said. I just want to take care of you both now. Because you feel guilty? Clara asked. Because I care, he corrected. Your mom asked me to keep you together. A call from the hospital interrupted. Sarah was fading. In the ICU, Sarah's frail form barely moved. I tried to tell you, she whispered. You'd moved on. Marcus learned of James, who raised Clara with love, and Sarah's illness after his death. Keep them together, she pleaded. Don't erase James. As dawn broke, Sarah slipped away, her girls at her side. Marcus promised to honor her wishes. At the Blue House, post-funeral, Evelyn appeared, dripping false sympathy. Those girls need stability, she said. Clara stepped forward, holding her mother's wooden box. Mom told me about your calls to the assessor. You want our house. Emma added, you don't love us. You love our land. Evelyn's mask shattered. This property's wasted on you, she spat. Marcus bought the house that day, vowing to preserve it. He also began converting the warehouse into the Sarah Cole Community Center, a haven for single mothers to learn skills and care for their kids. Months later, the adoption hearing for Emma and paternity recognition for Clara filled the courtroom with supporters. Clara spoke. Marcus isn't replacing our family. He's building on it. Emma grinned. He loves us, even when I'm messy. Judge Ellen Harper approved, and the room cheered. At dinner, Clara gave Marcus a tie sewn from Sarah's dress, James's shirt, and his company Colorso woven family tree. It's perfect, he choked out. A year later, the center thrived, employing 25 mothers, with Clara teaching sewing classes. The Blue House became their weekend sanctuary, Sarah's sewing room untouched. At a community meeting, a mother thanked Marcus for her daughter's engineering dreams, sparked by the center. Clara's memory quilt told their story squares for their struggles, triumphs. Even Evelyn, who'd fled to Arizona, humbled. As fireflies danced on Maple Avenue, Marcus sat with his daughters, now 11 and 8, their home alive with love. Are we going to be okay? Emma asked. We're already a family, Marcus said, his heart full. The man who'd once chased empty victories had found true wealth in promises kept and love earned. What do you think? Did Marcus redeem himself, or is he just easing his guilt? Should Clara have forgiven him so quickly, knowing he abandoned her mom? Would you trust a stranger who stepped into your life like that? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button, and subscribe for more stories that'll make you question everything.